Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Night Alive on this wonderful July 5th. I hope your 4th of July was exciting and fun. As you can see, I am streaming from CSL's new meditation space, which we call the Moon Room. And you can see because there's a beautiful South African moon in the background. So I think this is an incredibly sexy place to be for our weekly meditation and message. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. So for those of you who don't know me, who may be checking in for the very first time, my name is Reverend Denise Schubert. I am a purveyor of possibilities and the spiritual director at the Center for Spiritual Living in Cape Coral, Florida. And Sunday Night Alive is relatively this rendition of it. I've been doing it for many, many years, but this rendition really was to invite all of us into 15 minutes of meditation on Sunday night with a mantra, because meditation is important and meditating in a group can be quite fulfilling, even though perhaps obviously you're wherever you are by yourself and I'm here by myself. So we're meditating alone, but yet we are meditating in a unique configuration of souls that are meeting on Sunday Night Alive. So I can't really interact with you in this format, but if you leave a comment, you can say hello, and I would love to see your name after the fact, just feeling connected to you. So before we begin the message, let me just do the housekeeping things, which is you have an opportunity to do a love offering or to donate to the Center for Spiritual Living, and you can do that. Through text to give, which is by far the easiest. It's the numbers 239-320-3820. The very first time you do that, you'll have to set up your information, but after that, all you have to do is type in the amount followed by the letters SNA for Sunday Night Alive. For those of you who have been with me for years and you're used to doing your love offerings through PayPal or Zelle, you can still do that with revdschubert@gmail.com. So obviously, giving, tithing, gifting is obviously optional, but it is uplifting and inspiring for me, and it supports the work of the Center for Spiritual Living in Cape Coral. So let's get into our topic tonight. So for me, Sunday Night Live is about a message. Then it's about meditating on that message. I'm going to play a little bit of music in the background, and the whole experience will be from 6 to 6:30. So not too long and not too short, and everybody can participate. And you can also watch afterwards. You don't have to be live here with me, though it's quite a different experience, I think, when you are. So you ready to jump into our topic tonight? So I went back and forth about what to call this, because at the center, we have started a new month in July called Sowing Seeds of Freedom. And our book of the month is by far one of my top 5 books ever, which is Spiritual Liberation by Dr. Michael Beckwith. And his work is so powerful, and this particular message has been inspiring me for 2 decades. I talk about it all the time. I blog about it because you'll see as we move through the idea that it's so logical and so obvious and so empowering. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So in his book, in the first chapter, second chapter, he talks about the importance of involution and evolution. Involution is that which is already within something. Involution is what is already inside of the thing, and evolution is the process of what's inside of a thing becoming the thing. So involution is what's inside, evolution is the process of that expressing itself. There are 2 very wonderful examples. One we'll talk about tonight and one we'll talk about next week, but the one we're talking about tonight is the acorn and the oak tree. So if you've ever seen an acorn, it's a very tiny seed, and that seed has within it already without doing anything, has within it already everything it needs to become an oak tree, everything. It's not missing anything, nothing needs to be added to it. So Dr. Beckwith would have called that, with the seed, the oak tree is involute within the acorn. And the process of that is the evolution of the oak tree becoming that which it has always been. So we are exactly the same way. Everything in life is exactly the same way. You know, that there is a prototype of things in the intelligence, or what I might say in the mind of God. There is a prototype of a zebra, a prototype of an oak tree, a prototype of a geese, a prototype of cats. And even though there may be different expressions of cat or different expressions of zebra, meaning each zebra's stripes are just a little bit different. Each zebra might have a little bit of a different personality, but in truth, a zebra is a zebra. If you've ever seen, I spent a lot of time, a decade or so in North Carolina, and geese are very popular. And when they have their babies, all the babies look exactly alike. And when they all grow up, they're going to look exactly like their mama and daddy. So there is similarly a prototype of of a human in the mind of God. And within that seed called human, when you were just an embryo, a zygote, everything you need to express in this life, to live this life, to flourish in this life, is already within you from the very first minute. Now, this is a radical, wonderful idea, because we live our entire lives trying to get something, trying to be something, trying to get a college degree, trying to find a mate, trying to make it. We spend so much time trying to make the outside work. And if we actually just realized that everything we need is already here, that we were born with it, it's already present. Your personality, your talents, your gifts, your love of life, your what you have to offer to the people around you and to humanity is already here with you. Nothing needs to be added, subtracted, or changed within the seed of an acorn in order for it to sprout. So evolution is definitely more, evolution is simply the time it takes for the full expression of what's already inside. Now, if we can embrace that, if you can embrace that who you are is already perfect, and in fact, who you are is a superhero. You are already a superhero in life. You are already the gift that we've all been waiting for. And if we know that, then we can, one, move through life with less stress and anxiety, because then it's just about making sure that you're allowing the environment you're in to support your fullest expression. And what do I mean by that? Well, even though it's true that the acorn will become an oak tree, it can only become an oak tree if the raccoon doesn't eat the seed, if a rock doesn't fall and prevent the sun. It only becomes an oak tree if the environment is conducive to the seed becoming that which it is. It's kind of the same with you and I. You know, we oftentimes, our childhoods were not great environments for expressing our gifts and talents. Sometimes we, even as adults, we create environments where we suppress or we hinder or we block that which is always trying to happen. And so our responsibility is to make sure our environment is conducive to our superhero self, making itself known. Now, how do you do that? Well, you surround yourself by good people. You eat the right food. You get the right amount of sleep. You do things that make you happy. You meditate. You get into nature. You create an environment where you can flourish, where you can not be in fight or flight all the time, that you want to, one, love the self that you are, because even though there are 8 billion people, each one is in many ways exactly the same. We all have brains and hearts and livers and kidneys. And in the same way, every one of us is just a tad different. So you want to embrace your difference. You want to applaud your difference. You don't want to hide or be ashamed of your difference. You want to release your inner splendor into life, which has always been there. It's a very big idea. So today we're going to meditate for 15 minutes. I'm going to put on some music, which today is going to be the Moses Code. And I'm going to put up our mantra. But before we do that, just simply look to see how logical this feels. And I know it does to me, that there is something in me that I've known has always been there, and that it took me 4 decades to give it permission to shine, to give it permission to come to the surface without being shy or embarrassed or anxious. And when you do this, by the way, one of the things that happens is you stop caring what other people think. There is nothing to live up to. There's no beating the Joneses here. You are already an entity all unto yourself. You have everything you need to flourish, that the universe is going to support you financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, to be that which you are. And we just need to meet it halfway. We need to say, okay, I can get that. So just see if you can try that on, no matter where you are in life, no matter how wrong or stupid you think you are, that you are a superhero. So our mantra, or what I'm going to be suggesting you can say to yourself during our meditation time, is, I accept evolution as my spiritual birthright and say yes to revealing who I have been all along. I accept evolution as my spiritual birthright and say yes to revealing who I have been all along. So once we go into meditation, I'm going to not speak because it interferes with the music. So we're going to have 15 minutes straight. And I invite you, please stay connected. If you forget the mantra, just open your eyes and look. You're going to see me meditating with you, but I can't see you and we can't see each other. So it's all just perfect. At the end of the meditation, I will come back and I will pray us out by speaking a word of blessing on us as we move into our week. So begin to get settled, which means simply begin to release any tension in your body. Begin to allow yourself to become aware of your breath, your inhale and your exhale, recognizing that the infinite, this universal intelligence, is breathing you. The breath of life is being breathed into you. So it's easy just to allow that in-breath to saturate your body temple, healing it, uplifting it, inspiring it. And as you exhale out anything you no longer wish to carry forward in your life. And so we're just going to sit for 15 minutes. We're going to breathe. We're going to remember how beloved we are to God and how beloved we are to the universe and how necessary we are. Every goose matters, every oak tree matters, and every human being matters. So I'm going to find our music and put it on, and we're going to meditate together for just a little while. We'll see you on the other side. Hmm. So take a breath. Just allowing yourself for a minute to feel how good it feels to become still, how good it feels to connect in with ourselves. And just so stay still for just a moment as I speak a word of blessing upon us as we move out of this wonderful Sunday night into our work week or into our week. By simply recognizing this intelligence we speak of, this infinite something that is surrounding all of us, that's within all of us, that created everything, every human, every tree, every zebra, every goose, that all of it came from the same pool of intelligence, the same pool of creativity. And so, what I know for each and every one of us is that we are already cooked. We're done. We are already whole. We are already perfect. And we are already complete. And there is nothing to do but to allow for that completion, that wholeness, and that perfection to reveal itself, to be released into the world in which we live. Because inside of us, regardless of what life has been, who we've been, where we've been, or how we've been, inside of us is a superhero, that we are made in the image and likeness. Unlike zebras and trees, we have consciousness. We have the power of thought. We have the power of creation. We have the power of declaration. And so I know and accept that we leave here today a little bit changed, a little bit more in love with who we are, a little bit more in love with life, and a little bit more exuberant and enthusiastic about going out and shining that light everywhere that we are. And so for this 30 minutes of doing something special, me time, it's your time, I'm grateful. I know that we are lifted by being together, and I am grateful for that. And so please join me in knowing your perfection in this moment and closing out our time on Sunday Night Alive today by saying, and so it is. Amen. All right, beloveds, I adore you, and I'm so happy you joined me tonight. Please do come back next week from the Moon Room. I am really digging this very much, and it feels wonderful. I wish you could be here with me. Next week, we'll talk a little bit more about transformation and the becoming of ourselves. And so between now and then, be safe, be happy, and God bless you. See you next week on Sunday Night Alive.